Howdy folks, John from Sailosaurus with another video of Once Upon a Galaxy. I had a lot of fun with the last one and hopefully you liked it too. You can see right here, I'm about an hour before I can start the March tournament, so I'm just doing a little bit of preparation, I guess, warm-up games, I don't know. To be transparent, I've played several games already before I started recording and they did not go well, so I don't know if that means all the really good players are up and doing the same thing I am, but I thought it'd be fun to play one more before the tournament kicks in. So here we go. None of these captains is my favorite, so I think I'm going to re-roll this pig and see if we get something I like better. Not that any of these are particularly bad. And we got the collector. Let's go with Skip, the time skipper, and then we can build on around dragons. Sure, let's do that. Nice, look at that. Didn't even know I had access to that deck. All right, so Skip, you can see his power here is that we get to see bigger minions earlier than everybody else, but we will always lose the first round. And we're already seeing uncommon minions here, but unfortunately this guy is not that great without a board. So let's just let's see if we get lucky. Okay, well that's not too bad actually. Nabi here will heal us one, so we go back. It's like we didn't lose that first round at all. And I kind of like Snowball. It starts to snowball. Things are already starting to look good for us. We don't have any strong minions in this shop, so I'll just grab the Scrub Fowl that gives us a buff on our first slot here. And then, you know, one of the things that I always try to work towards is having every slot buffed, just to prepare for the pirate quest giver that shows up later on. So I don't think that's a bad idea. So we'll get the baby bear, start buffing our slots. Hey, speaking of the ship shape inspector, I'm going to go ahead and grab him in preparation for buffing all of our slots in this round. We'll be doing it. You know, Achilles is one I think sometimes is a really terrible minion to have, but early on in the game, he can also snowball and start giving buffs to your guys. And you know, it's friendly. Let's share the love with our opponents. Normally, I would replace this Scrub Fowl because it's the weakest minion, but I want the baby bear to buff this slot here, so I'm actually going to replace the Navi. Maybe not the most intuitive play there, but I think it's the right one. Alright, so we did lose, but we do get to get a really nice treasure here, so we can either go with... to me, this is not one of my favorites, although it is nice to get it early on so that we can afford to lose a couple of rounds. This one's pretty good if you get lucky and get a really strong epic minion, but I like Gravity Well a lot because it also snowballs, so we do +1/+1, then +2/+2, and on like that. So let's do that, and let's see if we can start making our guys a little bit bigger. I'm going to grab the Two-Headed Wizard. It's another minion that I have a hard time saying no to. He also leads to some pretty ridiculous gameplay, so I like that. And now that everything is buffed, I think we can say goodbye to Baby Bear. I'll grab Davy Jones. Alright, we're looking somewhat strong, but I think it's too early to say for sure. Right, we'll upgrade Achilles, upgrade Davy Jones, and, you know, I kind of like 10 million Fireflies quite a bit, but let's just see if we can get lucky. The Lost in the Woods will be doubled. It'll buff our Two-Headed Wizard, and maybe we'll see something even better. Alright, well we have a spell that can turn one of our guys golden. Normally I would be on board with that, but neither one of these guys is all that great to golden early on. So I think I'm actually going to grab this guy, Ironcast Dragon. I like him a lot. He's just leads to some ridiculous gameplay. And going along with that, we're going to grab the Jasmine Dragon again. If she wasn't here, I definitely would get Maverick and Icewing. That's a very easy one to complete, especially with the Ironcast Dragon. But this is a nice combo. We can guarantee that we'll get an extra shop every turn just by having those two in play. So that seems like the way to go. Might have been better actually to replace the Wizard instead of the Jasmine Dragon, but it's too late for that now. And I'll just throw the spell at him and see what happens. Okay, this opponent is significantly stronger than we are. Well, thankfully our spell did us right. Alright, well this is going to be our game plan going forward. Unless we see some really good minions, we're just going to be throwing spells at our Ironcast Dragon and seeing what kind of good treasures we can get. That's a really good one right off the bat. That secret map is only a common treasure, but in a few turns it's going to turn into a legendary treasure. Just in the interest of not being the exact same game as last time, I'm going to skip the Boon Willow this time and just re-roll with Lost in the Woods. Alright, here's another one I like a lot, the Sir Francis Drake. I'm going to go ahead and replace the Wizard with him. And now we have a Golden Achilles. So you can see the upgrade here, it does double, but it's just not that impressive. It also doubles the buff it gives to your opponents, which is kind of a bummer. We're not planning to keep Achilles forever, otherwise I'd grab this double the hunt ability. Crow's Nest is just sort of like, it's just a generic buff, but I'm going to go with the one with the highest upside. There's a lot of insane spells we can get, and that'll be really good on our Ironcast Dragon. And let's see if we're still doing pretty good. Yeah, I'd say we're ahead of the curve at least. It's a shame our Sir Francis Drake didn't get to attack and give us a treasure, but I guess we'll settle for what we got. Alright. These minions are all looking kind of weak, so let's do Mixo Macho and on our Ironcast fella. Trigger the Jasmine Dragon. Gonna upgrade her. And is it time to let go of the Snowball? I don't know, man. Is it time to let go of Achilles? That also seems tough. This is a difficult decision because this is not a super strong minion going into the late game, but it is our biggest guy at this point. But Burninator is definitely, we want Trodgor. So I guess I'll replace Sir Francis Drake, even though that does make me a little bit sad. Okay, here's one of those really powerful spells that I mentioned. This one is one of my favorites to just keep casting over and over again. Not only do we get a buff, we get a treasure from the dragon, but we also get to play another shop, which could always have another Eureka in it. Okay, we got the two-headed wizard back. This spell is not my favorite. This one just re-rolls into a character of the same rarity that we are now, which I guess we're on legendary, so maybe that would be worth it. Maybe we play the Through the Looking Glass on the Snowball and get us a legendary creature. But I'm gonna go with this. All right. Well, we got Bahamut, a really strong minion in the short term, but I think I'm just gonna. There's not anybody that I really want to replace him with. I just want to say Abracadabra. Okay, we got a double, really strong spell to cast. Do any of our slots benefit from it very much? No. This is one that the more times you cast it, the more powerful it becomes. But I think we're just going to go with this Stroke of Midnight. This will help us make sure we don't lose our next battle. And none of these other spells are particularly strong. This is really just like a weaker version of Stroke of Midnight in most cases. So we gonna stroke it. And I think we're gonna go with this one, see if we can get some more mages and dragons when we play it on this fella. Alright, cross your fingers for me. Okay, looks like we didn't need to stroke this one. Despite me kind of trash-talking Achilles, he has kind of carried us here along with our gravity well. This buff just keeps growing, keeps getting better and better. I think we're going to go ahead and golden the two-headed wizard, replacing our snowball here. This guy is smaller right now, but he'll grow pretty quickly with all the spells we're going to be casting. So with his, we get to choose 3 of our spells because of Trodgor the Burninator here. Look at that big beefy arm. So, you know, we're definitely taking Spellbook Punch card. This one's great. Benefits you for casting multiple spells in a turn. Alchemistry set, pretty good. Energizer, pretty good. That's going to synergize with our Gravity Well. It's going to make it improve by +3/+3 instead of just 1. It's also going to immediately buff all of our creatures with these. So that seems like the way to go. So we want Spellbook Punch card and Energizer. Oh, sorry. I just way over-explained because I forgot Trodgor gives us all 3 of them. So I didn't even have to make a choice. It just happened. Alright, well, none of these minions is particularly exciting. I do like this guy probably more than I should, but we're just going to go ahead and do this and kick off our Spellbook Punch card. Okay, none of these is too great, but I'll take a rare treasure. That seems alright. And I should say I'll take 3 rare treasures. Now see, I mentioned chaining these double spells as being really powerful. I still don't really have anything to combine with that, so I'm going to go with the Epic Treasure from the Queen of Hearts here. I said Epic Treasure, I should have said Epic Treasures. We're starting to get some big piles of treasure here, all that some of these kind of work together in really interesting ways. I like how Elixir of Giant Strength is kind of a pairing with the Fairy Pancakes, because this will buff our bronze creatures, and then this will buff our non-bronze creatures to be big as well. So, alright, let's see what we're doing here. Yeah, we're still very much ahead of, it seems like, all of our opponents right now. It seemed a little sketchy there for a little bit early on, but I think we've sort of rounded the corner. And now we have a very difficult decision. Do I play Eureka and get 2 extra shops off of the Ironcast Dragon plus 2 common treasures, or do I get 3 epic treasures? I guess I gotta do that, right? It's so hard for me to say no to Eureka. It's just such a fun spell to cast. Alright, so now that our Ironcast Dragon is golden, when we cast a spell on him, we'll actually get an uncommon treasure, which is a pretty huge upgrade. This treasure does nothing as long as we have the Burninator in play, but that's alright. This one does nothing since we don't have really any animals in play. And this one actually does something with our Achilles, so I guess we got 1 treasure that round. Look at that. I'm rewarded for playing correctly. I get the Eureka back. It's worth noting that we're passing on some really large characters here, thanks to the Fairy Pancakes buff. But I think our guys are big enough at this point that we can afford to let that go. I think I am finally gonna replace Achilles. I'm gonna swap out with this Fairy Dragon. We have quite a bunch of treasures right now, 20 of them, so that will give all of our creatures in front +20, +20, and that'll just keep growing as we cast more spells. So I think that's worth it. go ahead and put them in the back. We do have the treasure that makes all of our supports go after all of our characters, I think. Yeah, so Widow's Web, all of our supports will buff everyone in our army here, so that's a nice ability. We don't need Long John Silver because our stuff goes straight to Golden. We don't really need any of these, so I guess it's time to start building up our double here. It's not going to do much this time, but it'll do more every time we cast it. Okay, we got another Eureka. Can't say no. And this time we can either play a couple of those, which it's not that exciting, or we can go ahead and get us a treasure. So I think we'll do that. I keep saying a treasure, but it's actually 3. So this is actually quite strong. We got the Bo Peep's Crook before that makes all of our animals grow for each of our animals. But this one will make all of our mages into animals, which isn't too many. We only have the 2 mages right now, but it's still going to make them start scaling up. Same with this one. This will buff our heroes. I don't think we have any of those. So one thing that's funny with when you get Trodgor is that you start getting a whole bunch of treasures that don't really do anything. But I guess, hey, they buff all of our creatures with our fairy dragon here. Okay, we're going to go with, let's get us a rare treasure. And of course, I mean 3 rare treasures. You see how our replacing the Achilles with Fairy Dragon is already paying off quite a bit. Let's get these guys. There we go. Yeah, our opponents are just basically not playing the same game as us right now. Alright, like, I wouldn't mind having this Merlin, but I don't think there's really anybody that I want to replace him with. So I think we're just going with a doubled Stroke of Midnight. Feels like overkill. Our poor opponents are not going to know what hit them. Let's see. We can go ahead and get 3 legendary treasures. I do like this Conan quite a bit, especially when we have all these buffs, because he will complete his quest on the first incarnation. But I think we got a golden Arburninator here. It's going to make him much larger, and of course give us 3 really powerful treasures. This mysterious map is one that I feel like you should almost always take it as long as you're not incredibly behind, because it gives you access to these characters like this, the Echoing Fae. When I buff anyone else, she gets the buffs too, so she's gonna, doesn't seem like she's that big right now, but she's gonna grow quick. I think we're actually gonna replace the 2-headed wizard. As much as I like to keep this guy around, I think we're gonna swap it out. And we don't get paid off right away on the Echoing Fae because we don't really want any of these minions, but the next minion we buy is going to be ridiculous. If it's not clear, doubling the attack and health, that does stack, so it's going to actually quadruple the health of the next minion that we buy. This opponent's a little closer to maybe killing one of our minions, but does feel a little bit like punching down. Oh man, I didn't even realize we got this one that gives all of our heroes and villains hunt, and then we have this ability that when we hunt, our characters get bigger. So do you see how large the Echoing Fae got just in one turn? And she's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Hey, look at this. Look at this Bahamut. He is so large. But, you know, I'm going to say no. I don't need him. I'm going to say no. We're going to go double Eureka, and we're going to see what the next shops have to say. The Dwarven Cart. This is one of my favorite treasures to get. I don't even know if it's actually that great in the grand scheme of things, It's but I just love the idea that getting treasure gives me more treasure. It's very exciting. Here we have a sort of a cleave. Hits a minion in front and the minion behind them. This one is pretty bonkers. I actually think I might replace my fairy dragon with that one. It's just giving... I mean, it is giving a big buff to all of my minions in front, but 600 attack cleave? Come on. Alright, we're going to do that. So we're going to put that one in the first slot. So this is an interesting strategic element, right? I want to buff this first slot because that's where I'm going to park my Snapping Hydra. But if I play the spell on the Ironcast Dragon, I get a benefit. I get an uncommon treasure. So I'm just going to put the Ironcast Dragon in the first slot so that he gets his benefit, but also buffs this slot. Sorry if that is really obvious to you, but I don't know how much sort of teaching I need to do. And here's something, I don't actually know how this works. I'm going to play this Greed on my Ironcast Dragon to give him Treasure Hoard. Echoing Fae says she's going to get the buff too. I'm not sure if she gets that as a buff, the Treasure Hoard. So we'll find that out together. So right now, she's 388, she's got no Treasure Hoard. Okay. Doesn't look like she got Treasure Hoard, but she did get the +8/+3 from the Rusty Blades. And I'm definitely thinking about this more than I need to. I've got it in the bag, y'all. This is an interesting minion, Navi. I think we grabbed her early on when we were hurt. In this scenario, I could actually go up to 5 hearts if I were to grab this golden Navi, but I can't resist goldening my Snapping Hydra. It's just too cool. Okay, we got buffs from spells, everybody gets Treasure Hoard, and a legendary treasure. And then I triggered our Dwarven Cart there, so we actually get more treasures. We've cast a lot of spells, and we have a lot of dudes with Treasure Hoard. I'm sorry I'm sort of over-explaining this. Yeah, and I just want to make sure you can see what these treasures are that I'm grabbing before I just snap them up. I'm fairly sure that the Dwarven Cart can only trigger once a turn or something, because I feel like there's a lot of times where it would make sense for it to just keep going. Alright, well I think this might be the last round because I don't think our opponent has a shot, but I guess we'll find out. Look how huge the Echoing Fae is. She grew when the Snapping Hydra tripled his attack. And that's gonna do it for this game of Once Upon a Galaxy. One thing that I think is funny is that even after the game ends, whether you win or lose, it'll still show you what triggered off of your the end of that combat. In cases like this where we just kind of obliterated everyone, it feels good. But when you lose and you're just triggering some of your synergies, it can kind of feel like rubbing it in to you. All right, well that's gonna do it for this game. This video of Once Upon a Galaxy. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what I played wrong, how I could have done better in this game, or if you do you like this game? Have you tried it yourself? What is your favorite strategy? You know, just tell me some stuff if you want to. I'll be back again. Hopefully the next video you see of me playing this game is me just rocking and rolling straight through the championship from March. Until next time, everybody stay cool, and I'll see you again in another galaxy.